Another 4 gallons of water. Hello, Miss Blue. How are you doing? Let's fill your water. You know, this is really getting old. Anyway, gotta be a better way. Wait a minute. There is a better way. Hey guys, welcome back to Crazy D Ranch and Rabbitry. And I just had an awesome idea. Stick around and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Hey guys, I just wanted to throw this in here real quick. Make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video. At the end I'll talk about a few of the problems that I had and some of the ideas that I had to fix it, and possibly some other trials that I'm going to try a little later on to make it better. So let's get to the video. Okay, so here's the problem. We have these little bottles that we have to take off of each rabbit cage, pour from a gallon jug into these, put it all back together, and then hang it back up on the cage. And sometimes they don't want to stay on the cage, or they're hard to get on, so it takes a little while. I don't know if y'all have kept up with our crazy adventures, but we have 80 rabbits at the time of this video, 30 cages, and I'm about to put together a few more because we need to separate some of the babies out. So this takes me every single night, 7 days a week. I go through and I fill up 30 of these. It takes roughly an hour every single night. That's a lot of time, and that doesn't count somebody filling them up in the morning, somebody filling them up midday. So there's probably 3, maybe 4 hours worth of watering every single day. It's time for that to end. So what we're going to do, we're going to make an automatic waterer. Now, any bucket will work. I found this one at Tractor Supply. I think it was on sale. This is 12 gallons. Rabbits are drinking anywhere from 5 to 6 gallons per day, so this is 2 days worth of water, which will be really awesome for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in this, put a little cutoff valve, because I want to be able to shut it off in case I have problems somewhere in the system. Don't have to do that, but I'm going to. So it's going to require me to have a drill, which handy dandy cordless drill. And this is the gasket I'm using. It's a 1/4 inch on one end and 3/8 on the other. I found this on Amazon for a great price. I actually got 2 of them in case there's a problem with one of them. And then I ran down to Ace and bought a gasket and a nut. Once again, you probably don't need it because this should screw into the bucket, but it's in my nature to overdo things, so that's what it is. Got a little bit of silicone gun, and a whole bunch of hose. I probably bought more than I need, but I'll find uses for it. This was on Amazon. It costs next to nothing. So 50 feet and 50 feet, so I've got 100 feet of hose here. And the most important part are these little T valves. Not sure exactly what you call them, but they're next to nothing as well. But this is what you're going to use to cut your line and connect it all back together. And then you've got the nipples that will just go on the cage. Should be easy peasy, and that will solve the problem, hopefully, of leaks. There won't be anybody running out of water. My rabbits won't have to wait for one of us to come down and water them, and that's going to cut down on hours of us watering the rabbits and carrying those big jugs down the stairs and up the stairs, and it's just a lot of work. We're going to get rid of that problem. So here we go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is find a place to put the hole for the water to come out. Since this thing has handles on it, in case anybody's ever carrying it, we're likely to carry it like this. So I'm going to put it on the side, and that way if we don't have to take the gasket off and it's not poking anybody in the leg. Now, you want to leave about an inch of space, that way if there's any debris or anything in the bottom of the bucket, it's not getting into your watering system. It just floats to the, or goes to the bottom. So we're going to put about an inch difference here, and or put about an inch from the bottom. Just drill a 1/4 inch hole. You may have to make it a little bit bigger once we get started. Let's see what we've got. I'm pretty sure that's considerably too small. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's way too small. Almost need twice that much, probably a 1/2 inch hole. But pretty easily done. It's a plastic bucket, so just keep working it around. Alright, let's see where we're at. Even close. Not even close. Got a long way to go. Alright, so once you've got your hole drilled out, you just get this just the right spot and start screwing it in. And that's what I like about this, is I'm able to thread it through the bucket. So number one, that's not likely to have any water issues. And I'm also going to apply a little bit of silicone to that. So like I said, I tend to overkill things a little bit. So now that I've got this screwing in good, I want to get a little bit of silicone on there to make sure that it's going to be completely waterproof. And we're just going to get a little bit here and put it in the threads. And we should be good to go. Alright, let's twist that on in. And once it's twisted all the way in, you're dealing with plastic here, so it could possibly come loose. So what we're going to do is, on the other side of this, from the inside, alright, so as you can see, I think you can see, maybe you can see, I don't know if you can see. We've got our threaded through here. Now I'm just going to put this gasket on. Actually, we're going to dump out some of those shavings. I'm going to take and put this gasket on there. And that should, between the silicone and that gasket, I don't think we're ever going to need to worry about leaks. And I don't think you really need to tighten that down too terribly much. It should be good to go. So that's it. We've got a little cutoff valve on here so that I can shut the water off or open it up anytime I want to. That'll make working on this much easier in case there are any problems. And since we did that silicone on there, I think we'll let this dry for just a little while. And we'll come back to it in a couple hours. Like I said, I tend to overdo things. Got to thinking, this bucket's going to have to set up pretty high. We have now the gravity fed, and all you got to do is make sure that the that the faucet is at or above the level of your nipples. But we've got 3 cages stacked. You know, it's 3 stacks, so it's still going to be pretty high. And rather than having to climb up and put water into the bucket, I decided I've got a couple of hoses that burst this year. Why not recycle? So I'm actually going to put a length of hose so that we can just put a hose on this and run it straight into the bucket, and it's no real major effort. So bear with me. Okay, we waited long enough for the silicone to be water ready, so we can go ahead and work on this. I went ahead and cut that hose off. Wrong end. Yeah, went ahead and cut that hose off that had burst, and I put a pretty good extension to it because it is going to be pretty high up. Now for our next trick, we need to drill a hole in the bucket, slide this through it, and that's when I had to take a quick trip to Ace. But I am back and realized I didn't have the right size drill bit. By the way, I almost bought one of these for $11.99. I looked up and saw that they had a 3-pack of 3 different sizes. Since I wasn't exactly positive of what size I needed, this was only $17.99. So for $6 more, I got 2 more drill bits instead of just 1. So that was pretty cool. So I needed that, and then in order to keep the hose from sliding out, got a hose clamp. And this will just tighten down on the hose and keep it from coming out, and that'll keep it from sliding through the hole. So should be good. All right. Although it's been a few seconds for you, it's been a rough week for me. I was getting ready to drill the hole in this bucket and realized that my drill's battery had gone dead. Not a problem. Grab the charger and charge it back up. Yeah, I stored my charger along with several other tools in what I thought was a waterproof container underneath the deck. It wasn't. So my charger along with several other tools have been ruined. On the upside, I did get to buy a new drill. So now instead of using a nickel cadmium battery, I've got the lighter weight, more powerful lithium ion battery. So I'm actually pretty excited to try out this new drill. My older 25-year-old drill will probably still stay around, and I'll probably just track down a new charger, but for now this is the new guy, and I'm pretty excited about the power it seems to have. So let's get to it. The plan is to put a hole on the opposite side from the faucet, and this way I can put that hose in so we don't have to worry about taking the lid off every time. So yeah, sometimes things don't go exactly the way you plan it, but that's okay. You just have to work around it sometimes. Now, next trick is, let's see if this hose is going to go through this hole. And of course, I want it to be a little bit tight, so that is perfectly okay. Now, there's several ways that I can handle this. Because I don't want that hose sliding back out, purchased this clamp that I can just slide right on the end of the hose, tighten it down. That clamp's not going to come back through, so it'll catch right there. Alright, so I'm going to put that about 4 or 5 inches in on the pipe. I'm going to tighten it down just a little bit here, get it close to the right size. It's not, I don't need this super tight, so I'm not clamping this hose down to anything. I'm just trying to make a situation where it won't slide out. And that way my wife can come along and just hook the water hose up to this partial hose and fill up the water tank in case we need it filled. I've estimated that this should hold about 2 days worth of water, so no more water bottles for our rabbits. And then of course the tubing itself, I suspect, will hold at least a day's worth of water, so we should be able to get away with filling this up 2 to 3 times a week instead of spending hours filling up single water bottles. That's not so tight that it's squeezing the hose, but it's not going to move, and guess what? It's not going to come out. So this portion of my build is done. We've got the faucet on here, we've got the intake valve here. Now we just hook up the line and run it to the rabbits. Just hook up the line right here, and then I've got the nice little cut-off valve so I can cut it off whenever I want to, open it up when I want to. So in case there is a leak on the hose somewhere, I can take out the section without dumping water everywhere. Wish me luck. So the next step in this build, I've got this plastic piping. Should be about I don't know, I think that's about 5/8 of an inch. Should get plenty of water through. Now I chose to go with the clear piping. I have heard that sometimes you get algae in it, and you ought to go with the black piping. Well, guess what? The black piping is going to get algae in it too, and I won't be able to see it. So with this, I'll be able to see where the problem's at, and once again, we can just trim it out, stick another piece in, we're good to go. I have 100 feet of this, so I should have plenty for repairs later. And what we're going to do, let's go for a walk over to the Rabbitry. For the time being, my plan is I'm going to place the bucket up here, which puts it higher than any of the cages, and then I'm going to feed it in under this tent cover somehow. And there's a pipe that runs along the back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let's zoom in a little bit, but it runs right along the back. I'm going to attach the pipe to that going down both sides. I'm going to bring it in here, probably split it, and run it down the other side. So same thing, and that way I've got water running down both sides to the rabbits, and of course the ones out here at the end are setting a little bit lower. So we're going to have a gravitational drip coming through this line, and then we can get rid of all of these bottles. Now I know that the first break in my line, I'm going to bring it in through this wall, and I'll probably split it just right after it comes in so that I can run across this way. So I'm probably going to go ahead and cut my line, because I really don't want to be dealing with 50 feet of line trying to get through that opening. So this way I can just run a few inches in, do my split, and then we're off and running. The hose, really easy to clip. I ended up just finding some pruning shears laying around handy. Could have used the scissors, could have used a knife, because like I said, it's very, very soft, easy to cut. And you just slide it onto the nozzle here. I could have heated this up to probably have made it a little bit easier. I chose not to. So we're almost to the point I want it to be. I feel fairly confident that if I can get over that last notch, I won't have to worry about any leaks. Which I believe we just did. So, let's go start with the installation. See how it works. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the tub up on the rack. I've got my watering hose here. I've got the cutoff valve facing this direction so that I have the option of turning it off or on. Oops, so I can turn it on and off right here. I went ahead and we've got about 6 feet of hose that we can connect up to turn it on, to fill it up. And now just got to weave it through here and see what we can make happen. Now, the way this tent is designed, the front is not really attached to the sides. So if I can get through here, shouldn't have to cut any holes, which, hey, it worked perfectly. I don't want to pinch this line too much, so I still need to leave a little bit of slack coming around this corner. Because if you pinch it, it's going to work like any other hose. It's not going to let water through. And that could be very detrimental. When you got 80 rabbits, you need to make sure there's plenty of water. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to split it about right here. I'm going to have a T going off that direction. And part of the T going this direction. So, be right back. Once again, don't tell my wife that I grabbed the garden shears, yeah? What I'm thinking is I'll be able to bring it across right through here, get above this hay feeder. That's going to be a problem. Maybe I should go below it, but I don't want to be snagging this every time I come through the door either. So probably we'll try to attach it somewhere. But let's start with a little snip, because this is a little bit further out than what I wanted it to be. So we're going to whack it right there. Okay, and then put our first T in. And that just slid in with no trouble whatsoever. To be totally honest, it's a little bit concerning that it was that easy. But we're going to roll with it. Now at this point, it's going to be a little bit harder to determine exactly what length I want. So I'm probably going to leave it long and work my way down. So we've got the T here. I want the one T going that way and the other branch going that way. So put this on here. We're going to figure out some way to attach this so that we're not walking into it every time we come in. And we're going to bring it across and attach it to the other side. So I'm going to work on getting this fed through. and we'll talk about it once I've got a few done. We'll see how it's working. Alright, well, I have finally finished the project. I did tell you that I was going to show you how it was going when I got 2 or 3 of them done. Yeah, I ran into problems and eventually worked my way on through and just got them all done. So I'll take you through and kind of show you where I ended up, and then I'll show you some of the problems I had and what I did to fix them. And so here we go. So as you can see, we've got the line running in here. Had one incident where this one was hanging too close to these ladies over here, and you know, being teenagers and all, they thought it would be fun to chew on them. And so first night out, we had a flood going right down into the bottom cage down here. But what we've got, so got the nipples on here, and as you can see, it drips the water out. They work really great. All of the rabbits seem to be doing well with them. This is 5/16 inch line. I actually had to get some larger nipples because the 5/16 inch nipples were too loose for the 5/16 inch line, and I had a whole lot of leaks from that. So ended up going with a larger nipple. Then I decided to look around and see if I could find 1/4 inch line, because I thought, well, you know, that being tighter would go on better. Guess what? I wasn't able to get it fully on there. And with this, I've got a few leaks. Once again, I'm dealing with leaks. I've tried putting some zip ties on there, not really doing a great job. But on the upside, even with the leaks, we are getting water. It is working. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And we've got some joints going through here. But so that's some of the stuff that I've done. So this 2-hour project has turned into about a month-long project. All of the rabbits seem to be happy. As you can see, this is Oreo, and she is just really enjoying it. It works a whole lot better. Preference would have been to have had these laying sideways, but because of the dimensions of this cage, the way the wires are done, I've turned it sideways. Still working awesome. So, but we did it. We've got our automatic waterer in, which was really awesome because last night I only spent 20 minutes in the Rabbitry, and the majority of that time was actually playing with the rabbits instead of an hour filling up water bottles. So now let's talk about a few of the things that I did to fix the problems. So I have been doing some experimenting since I finished that. With the smaller 1/4 inch line, I was able to get it on the smaller nipple, and it does stay on nice and snug. It took some effort pushing it on there, but it is on there, and it's very, very tight. I haven't tested to see if this is going to be leak proof or not, but I still think I prefer the larger nipple. As you can see, quite a bit more size to it. They get a little bit more water out, I think. I may decide to go to this for some of the smaller rabbits. I'm not sure. But what I did with this, I did figure out that I could use a pair of pliers and just carefully and as gently as I could, but it gave me the ability to grip it a little better, and I was able to work it up there just a little bit further. So I'll probably experiment with some of this over the time, since I do still have some leaks, and try to figure out the best method. And I'll try to make an update of this at some point once I've got it all figured out. My goal is 0 leaks. Not sure that that's really possible, but that is it. That's one of the hardest simple projects I have ever done. So there we have it. The job is done, finally. Probably one of the hardest, extremely simple jobs that I have ever done. Like I said, it took me about 3 to 4 weeks with my drill breaking down, with the nipples not staying on good, with you know, just different hose sizes, with leaks. It's been an experience. I watched several videos before doing this and they didn't make it look that hard. Somehow it became hard for me. But I hope this video has been helpful. Like I told you when I started this channel, not only am I going to show you how I'm doing things, I'm going to show you all of my mistakes. So we've made several mistakes on this one and we still got through it. I really do believe that this is a great project because even with the minor leaks that I'm having, it's giving me the opportunity to spend more time with the rabbits themselves, which is really important. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to stop back by the Crazy D Ranch and Rabbitry and keep an eye out for videos. If this is your first time watching, be sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified every single time that we put up a video. We really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time right here at the ranch. Have a great day.